Welcome back to Beyond Adjustments, the podcast that goes beyond cracks and pops to bring you real talk about health and growth. Today, we've got someone who's basically chiropractic royalty. He's been on Good Morning America. Yeah, he's kind of a big deal. And now he's here on my show, which obviously is, the highlight of his career. Anyway, please welcome Dr. Lou Ziegler. He's here to drop some serious health wisdom, right? Maybe crack a joke or two. That's probably me. But anyway, we apologize in advance for the corny jokes. They're going to happen. And maybe make you question why you haven't booked a chiropractic appointment yet. Let's jump in. No neck snapping, at least not yet, not required. Cue the music. Dr. Ziegler, I mean, look, I want to say welcome to my show, but I want to say like 10,000 other things. I feel like I am in the presence of royalty, man. I was checking you out. You're all over the map, dude. Good Morning America. You're on what is it? Vitality Vibes, like a bunch of these shows. You're everywhere. And I love that you're just kind of educating the world, man. Welcome to Beyond Adjustments. Thank
First
you
of all,
so much for being here.
no, thank you. First of all, I am so happy. What a fantastic introduction. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate that. It's so nice to
Absolutely.
hear that. It makes you feel really good about yourself.
Yeah.
Especially when I feel like I'm up against a big machine of big pharma trying to
Yeah.
devalue what we do.
Right.
I
Right.
can't tell you how appreciative I am, and thank you so much to have me on your show.
Yeah.
It's a great honor to get our message out, to really help people feel better, get them stronger, help them live longer. I have a feeling like no immune system should be left behind. I mean, I
Right.
want to get our message out, and thank you
I love
again. I
it.
really
I
appreciate
love
it.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, the honor is mine, man. Thanks so much for being here. All right. So I know your time is valuable, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump right in.
Sure.
I want to start talking a little bit about your journey, right? So you were a collegiate athlete, which really cool. And then you're now this top holistic chiropractic physician. What inspired you to transition into healthcare, like specifically integrative medicine?
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of go right back to where it all begins. It really starts with my parents. I have to thank my parents. I am so grateful for my
Wow.
parents, my family, and then there's God. I mean, always these things are so important. I am so grateful to be
Mm,
have this opportunity to help people. I can't thank
mm,
my parents enough. You
mm.
know,
Love
my
that.
mom was this big health, in the sense of holistic health from Adele Davis, helping people get building these immune systems way before this whole kind of holistic medicine world started to evolve. Food is medicine. My mom was a pioneer in this world.
Wow.
And it's because of her, and my father wanting us to be stronger. I mean, I can't thank my parents enough. And just,
Wow.
getting your kids to be smarter. These warrior moms that help their children to be, the best they can be. I have to thank them. And again,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that, man. Love such an authentic answer, man. I can see that coming from right here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You
That's
know, you know,
awesome.
I know they look down on me in the sense of like, because my parents have passed away, and I feel that is really a purpose to really like do well by your parents.
Mm, mm. It's kind of like our origin, like really pushing us forward. Like for me, kind of my life's motto here is using your pain for a purpose. For you, it's using your upbringing and what was instilled in you
Oh,
for a purpose. And I love that.
yeah, I
I
think it's
love
really at
that.
the core that drives, and it helps other people. I've learned over time, it really, like I've been helped by my parents, I can help other people, other
Yes.
parents are going to help their children, and we just build a healthier community.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious. So what what sport were you engaged
So
in
great.
college?
I played inside linebacker at the University of Connecticut.
Wow.
So I still, I'm not a big fan of people, with head injuries. And I
Right.
really am at this stage in my life, I want people to protect their heads.
Right.
But it was a great opportunity. I love playing sports. I
Sure.
think sports, again, bring people together. And
Yeah.
sports medicine evolves into such a way to get people living better. So that whole sports environment, again, made me a much better practitioner today.
Mm, awesome. So your educational background, it spans chiropractic care, acupuncture,
Correct.
bioengineering. Like that's a lot of disciplines, right? To really have under your belt. How have they really influenced your holistic approach to your patient care?
Yeah. So I'll kind of What's the nice thing about integrative medicine, I consider it to be the best medicine. You really want to get
Mm,
as many disciplines together to make the best possible choices.
mm,
So you get all these modalities and you make them work together as a team. So really getting a comprehensive approach I think, is the best approach,
mm. I
the
like
best
that.
medicine.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So as far as like your I would say the baseline is really what your patient is experiencing. And then you use that as your launch pad to say, okay, we need chiropractic care, we need acupuncture or whatever. And then you'll just kind of decide based on that use case or that
Yeah,
patient.
right. So I go through it, I've been doing this for about 30 years. I take this comprehensive approach, right? We do a comprehensive exam. We take a look at, your diagnostic information, possibly your labs. We really take everything together.
Got it.
Part I love about the chiropractic, and I've always said this about chiropractors have been like fundamentally in the beginning of kind of this, functional medicine space, making the body work better, making it move better. Movement is
Right.
so fundamental,
Right. Right.
right? Making sure these joints really line up well, keeping your
Yeah.
body moving
Yeah.
is fundamental in longevity.
Right, right. All right, and we'll get into a little bit of that later. We'll talk about kind of how you treat each patient, but I want to touch on this. I mean, this is huge. You were named top physician by your peers for over 15 consecutive years. 15
Yeah, I
consecutive
know.
years.
It's
I
very
mean,
nice.
that really is a testament to your expertise, Dr. Ziegler. So, what do you believe sets your practice apart in the field of
You know,
integrative medicine?
being human. I think just being human. I mean,
Yeah.
listening to people, being human is, you know, it's a simple approach. Care for your patients, listen
Mm,
to what they say. I mean, I can't, I do. I'm so thankful that people trust us to do what is best. I still believe in our oath to do no harm,
right.
right? Do no harm is
Right,
fundamental. So listening to
right.
patients, making sure they have the freedom to choose what is best for them, very
Gotcha.
important.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right, so here's I do this with all my guests on my show. I throw them a challenge question. I used to call it the $1,000,000 question.
Okay.
But if you
I'm
could
ready.
sum up, all right, let's see. I mean, here's the truth. Most of you guys are failing in a good way because there's not just one thing, but sometimes it works out. So we'll see. All right.
Okay.
So if you could sum up your philosophy of care in one guiding principle, what would it be?
I'm sorry about that. My phone. My guiding principle again is is to do no harm, right?
Mm,
Do no, and it is a guiding principle because I want to make sure that I can help as many people as possible.
mm.
And by doing that, and by trying to do the best I can, I'm so fortunate.
Love it. Love it. You passed. You passed. I
Thank
love
you.
it. You passed. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the integrative medicine and the
Sure.
patient care. Okay. So like we said, your approach combines, chiropractic care, acupuncture, nutrition, physical medicine,
Yeah.
right? How do you determine the right combination of treatments for each of your patients?
Well, great. So I'm really, I have two basic principles working, right? I have this Eastern model, which been it's around for like thousands of years, thousands. There have been more case studies on this, you know, forever. Then I have
Yeah.
this Western model, right? Which has only been around for about 150 years, which most people really don't understand. And I really try to fuse them together. And by doing that, really, and by limiting as much big pharma as I possibly can. And I agree they have made a lot of great advancements, but natural
Yeah.
medicine to me it will always, always be a
100%.
a purpose of driving this
Yeah.
whole health system, getting people healthier and living longer.
So acupuncture.
Sure.
Um, I'll be honest, that one scares me a little.
Yeah. It
But
sounds scary.
yeah, it is a significant part of your practice,
Right.
right? How would you explain? All right, so I walk in your door. All right, Amin is a new patient,
Sure.
and we do the assessment, whatever that may be. We do some testing and so on. And part of my care plan is part of it is acupuncture. How are you going to explain the benefits to me as a new patient who
Right.
might not be used to this type of care?
Right. And I think same thing, and I think that's the word itself sounds scary, right?
Yeah,
Acupuncture, right?
yeah,
It literally, and we have young kids who've been through acupuncture. You're hearing about these big needles and but most of the needles are so small and so fine. But there's basics types of what we consider to be a comprehensive healing system,
mm,
right? So let's kind of think about a comprehensive healing system. Think about what you consume, good food, water, air, bringing things in, eating, right? And then there's movement. You have to move. And that's your brain, that's your body. The needles in acupuncture help move blood, move the circulation, moving it. Those needles, when they break the skin, they can help proteins, really help proteins, and they can move through organ systems. These, what
mm.
they call energy or chi, but we're moving blood, which is
Okay,
really kind of cool.
gotcha, gotcha. So,
So does it sound scary now?
uh, not necessarily scary. Maybe a little fear of the unknown, right?
Sure.
I guess I'd have to be pricked a time or two to be like, oh, this is nothing.
And do you realize that acupuncture was illegal in the United States till 1972?
No, I had no idea.
Right? It was practicing
Wow,
medicine without a license. The institutions really didn't want it here. So it takes a
wow.
long time to try to get this kind of stigma or fringe medicine moved
Mm,
away from, or the word alternative,
right,
right? Where it's been used
right.
for thousands of years. And I say that about for the chiropractic,
Yeah,
you know, they're
yeah,
trying to think people as we're alternative, right? We're kind of
right.
fringy.
Well, alternative, unfortunately, has become a four-letter word in our society. It's unfortunate, but
I would agree. Very
it's
well
it.
said.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So within your do no harm guiding principle, um, prevention, I think, is at the heart of it, and that
Yeah.
is the cornerstone of your philosophy, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
What are some simple, actionable steps you can recommend for patients to take control of their health today?
Good. So I have a big sense of you are what you eat. Good food. I mean, so right, we have to support our local farmers,
Yeah.
all those guys who really grow our food. Big ag, you know, processed food. People don't realize, and I don't want anybody starved,
Yeah.
but I do understand the value of good food, less processed food, the processing and the chemicals in our food,
Yeah.
what we've done
Yeah.
to our food system. I am not that also really upsetting to me. We have to
Yeah.
clean up our food system to get a healthier population.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like for the US too, it's a little different. I was reading an article the other day about the ingredients in the same exact foods in the US, like let's say a fast food chain. I mean, it's a laundry list versus, let's say, another country that has same fast food chain. It's like a quarter of the list of ingredients. And I don't understand what it is that we're doing here and why, but I agree with you. I think the type of energy that you get out of your body is related solely to what you put into your body. So, yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
And since, I do believe your body is your temple,
Yeah,
right? And then you have to be really nice to it. I want you to have fun with your body, enjoy your
yeah,
body, do all
yeah,
those things with your body. And
yeah,
putting good food in your body is crucial. And I'll say the same thing about the animals. We have to be nice to the planet, what we feed our animals, because
yeah,
we're so interconnected. The cows, the eggs, all these things that bring us good food.
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
processing food world, the chemicals have become a major problem now, which I
yeah.
think is causing a lot of chronic illness,
Yep,
disease,
I
sleep
agree.
problems, tense muscles,
I agree.
a lot of problems.
I agree. I agree. My wife's big on that. We make sure we buy, organic when we can without breaking the bank, and then also like, no hormones added as far as the proteins and things like that. So we're big on that ourselves. So
Yeah, and I
come,
do, and like I said earlier, I think the reason I'm so grateful to you is giving us opportunity, us as we literally help to get this message out. And I
yeah.
mean, I need people like you to really help us understand that our food system needs to be cleaned up,
Yes, it does.
right?
Yes, it
we
does.
we politicized everything so much. And
Uh,
I'm here in Washington, D.C., and I
uh,
try to tell people this whole system has been politicized,
yes.
and we need to really think about how to get our people healthy again.
Yeah, we got to win it back, man. We got to win it back.
No doubt.
Yeah. All right. So I think I know your answer to this challenge question,
Sure.
but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, if patients could adopt one practice to improve their overall wellness today, what would you recommend?
Good food. Good food.
Could I answer that for you?
Right. And
Awesome.
here's my next one too. And also remember to move, exercise, really
Mhm.
important. There's never going to be one pill for an ill. You have to move and get your body outside and move. Get
Yeah.
go outside, fresh air, sunlight, vitamin D,
Yeah. Yeah.
really, really powerful and keeping you healthy.
Let's talk a little bit about your diverse patient base.
Sure.
I mean, over 20 years of experience. That is nothing to just glance at. Like, you'd really have to like dive deep into that. There's a lot of history, a lot of experience there. You've seen thousands of patients. So how has your, I would say, approach, right? Because, integrative medicine, I mean, obviously you're going to need to evolve as you go. How has it evolved over the years? You've seen, again, you've seen folks like myself, and you've probably seen babies, right?
Yeah.
So as far as serving each and every single patient, I'm assuming there's been some changes, some additions, and things like that. Um, so as far as that type of diversity, how has that evolved or changed over the years?
So how can I best say it? I'm so grateful to, take care of so many people in an opportunity. I'm
Mm,
really grateful for that opportunity to help more people. But I
yeah.
do think as more people become sick, I do think that food is becoming a big problem here. Getting
Mm,
good, high quality food, it's causing a lot of people to get sicker. The nutrient levels in our food, we have these stationary jobs now. People are sitting much
yeah.
more.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not moving like they used to move.
Right.
So you're correct. It's evolved because our lifestyles have really changed a lot.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
processed food world, exploded, trying to get food cheaper to people without any good nutrients, and I don't want anybody to starve, but it's really playing havoc on our health.
Yeah. 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 That's it's sad, but yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. I got 7 screens probably that I stare at, all day. But you're right. We do need to be cognizant of that. We need to keep moving. And not everybody's aware. So the
Yeah.
fact that your care had to evolve in order to, kind of take into consideration that we're constantly like this, like this, like this,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we have a stand-up desk. Uh, I mean,
Right.
okay, great, wonderful, but then what, really?
Right.
Like, what are you really doing there?
And I do try to tell people, get away from that blue screen. Really,
Yeah,
your eyes, the blue
yeah,
screen alone. Get some
yeah,
vitamin D, get some sunlight, go
yeah,
outside for some
yeah.
time.
Yep.
I mean, that's what's so important too. We're stuck in front of these computers so much time.
Mm,
So it's
mm,
evolved and it's changed a lot.
yep. So you consulted for, I'm sure, many organizations. One being the Japanese embassy.
Correct.
You served as an expert witness.
Yes.
One, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. I think what happens is, and especially what we call these, alternative, it becomes very fringy, or, they try to devalue our science, and our science is strong. So the same thing, like I was telling you earlier, being here in Washington, D.C., we see the political movement. And I do believe I have to get out to let people know that we're not that kind of cringy. Our science is strong.
Yeah.
You know, People argue that the education is limited, or your doctor didn't go to the proper schooling,
Yeah.
and you have institutions who are actually literally just trying to discredit other practitioners
Yeah.
or doing that. So I have to go in to testify, or go in to the embassy to show that where our science is really good.
Mm. Are you able to share an experience that you had there, or is that kind of off the table?
No, so I think, just in a general term, when I do go there, I want, especially with the Japanese embassy and talking with them, they understand the value of really good food, right?
Mm,
They value it, how
sure.
they understand that, they understand the nutrients. There's also they're much more connected in the sense of what they put into their bodies.
Yeah.
I think that's why there's longevity on the Eastern side. Our Western cultures, people are dying earlier, which really
Yeah.
upsets me and saddens me. And
Sure. Sure.
so,
So these type of roles, expert witness, consulting and all that, has that shaped your clinical practice at all?
yes, I think the same things. I practice probably, hopefully better, but I've also just understand that the politics in this. So I need to make sure I'm out there a little more to try to make sure that we don't get crushed by big pharma. I do think big pharma is literally trying to crush us.
Mm,
They're trying to, again, make it
yeah.
what we feel, and, you know, it- that the science isn't good.
Hmm.
We have really good science. So I have to make sure we get out there or we'll get crushed.
Right. So then let's talk a little about the holistic medicine
Sure.
side of things, right? Because it involves kind of interaction between the mind, the body, etc. How,
Correct.
how do you incorporate a patient's unique environment, maybe lifestyle, into their care plan?
Yeah, so when you think about the mind-body connection, you have to remember that the gut is your second brain. So
Hmm.
I always try to tell people your gut is your second brain, and that science
Yeah.
is really good. And
Hmm.
what we also mean by that, those stress hormones, right? You get stress. That affects your blood. Your blood chemistry can get off, which can cause also, right, cortisol levels, which gives you anxiety, sleep problems, muscular tension, racing heart, high blood pressure. So monitoring somebody's cortisol levels, right? Making sure their nutrient levels are good, their iron. You're getting anxieties and stress, and you never even think that it might be coming from your nutritional lifestyle,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, and I always echo, that's why it's so important what we call this metabolic mind, what you
Sure.
eat and how you think.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, totally. Actually, I just dropped an episode yesterday, or this morning, technically, midnight, with Dr. Noah Siegel. He's big on that, talking about how your gut's your second brain. I'll send that to you if you want to give that a
Love that.
watch. But yeah, it's
Because
it's
we have
really
to
cool
get
stuff.
that message out. The
Yeah,
mitochondria, and keeping your mitochondria, right, healthy, the
yeah.
ATP of the cell,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what's another challenge question
Sure.
for you? What's one piece of advice you'd give the patients looking to find balance between their physical and mental health?
Well, again, the same thing. I'm going to go back to that kind of, you
Yeah,
are what you eat, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
just that
yeah,
physical and mental part,
yeah,
it'll affect your brain. And here's the really simple one: limit the sugar.
yeah.
Limit
Oh
your.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I right. Oh yeah. Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah.
I know. It's
Dude.
almost too obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I know, and I get it.
We
I'm
all get
I'm
it.
I'm guilty of that though. It's like, it's so hard because if you're not reading every single label that you're,
Yeah.
purchasing, it's like, oh my gosh, this had this many grams of sugar in it,
Yeah,
or
it's the sugar,
like
it's
what?
everything, and
Yeah,
how many different names they use today. How
yeah,
many different names, but
I
I would
know.
say that one simplistic thing is
Uh-huh.
start to limit that sugar.
Yeah, yeah. I will. I will.
Yeah, me too. We all
I'm
get
so
guilty of it,
guilty.
you know? It's the dopamine
Yeah.
in our brain,
Yep. Yep.
it
Yep.
brings us happiness or joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
And
always just say the same thing
yeah.
about sugar. It shouldn't be for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. It's a dessert
Right.
baby, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like for me, I'm not big on dessert. Like I don't, if you put a huge, triple layer chocolate dip blah 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 cake, I could leave it, no problem. But you put, a bag of pita bread in front of me, I'm gonna devour it. That's the same thing. Those carbohydrates are gonna turn
Yeah.
into glucose in your body and so on. So it's like, once we educate ourselves and realize, okay, the things that we are taking in, it's not just what we're reading. It's not just the sugar. It's how your body actually interacts with that, ingredient, whatever that may be. Like I grew up in a Middle Eastern home, so it was pita bread all day. Like we had pita bread with breakfast. We had pita bread with lunch. We had pita bread with dinner. Like it was constant. It was like bread, 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 bread all the time. Um, even that, the carbs, like you have to think about healthy carbs. Like just a short while ago, I did something called the Daniel fast. I don't know if you've heard of that. But the Daniel fast is essentially healthy grains, right? Like it's mostly vegetables, no caffeine, no sugar, nothing, no, not even protein. You're just taking in all this fiber and then maybe some brown rice. And I mean, within the first 3 days, obviously I had like a caffeine headache and all that, because I have literally 2 cups of coffee sitting next to me
Sure.
here. Just, but by the third day, I was like, oh, this is terrible. I woke up on day 4 with so much energy, Dr. Ziegler. Like I could not, my mind was blown how my body was reacting, and I felt better. I felt
Yes.
better. I did it for 10 days. It was great.
Intermittent fasting, I love. I mean, right?
Yeah,
Because I'll
I
say
do
the
that
same
too.
thing. And the intermittent
Yeah,
fasting science is coming is really progressing well. And I
yeah,
say that also with keto diets and understanding this. Our
yeah,
food pyramid, which is literally a disaster,
yeah,
right? And which is why I was saying about politics earlier with,
yeah.
is that literally needs to be turned upside down. You know,
Mhm.
I really want these guidelines to change, start limiting the amount of carbohydrates.
Sure.
This is ridiculous. We need more fats, better
Yeah,
proteins,
yeah, yeah,
other mechanisms to get a healthier food. The
yeah,
guidelines been outdated for so long. We need to change them immediately. I feel like our
yeah,
government's lied to us about it all.
yeah. I agree. I agree. We're getting there though. I think
Yeah,
more and more
that's why
people
I
are
need you to
waking up
help
to it.
us.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
I'm here, man. I'm here. Literally, this is why I do this. So I'm excited that we're getting the word out, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to
Thank you.
continue to push real information out there for people to live healthier
It's
lives.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of, entities that are pushing different agendas that people don't understand. There's an agenda
Yeah.
about a lot of processed foods.
Yes.
These companies want to make a lot of money. My
Very true.
agenda is really very, very simple. I want you to live long and be healthy.
A few moments later.
All right, so let's jump into a little bit of the business slash, we'll talk a little bit about the media presence. This is where I geek out because obviously cyber adjustment, right? My bread and butter. This is what I do with chiropractors day in and day out. But I want to talk about you. And the reason why I have a segment like this on the podcast is because my audience consists of both the chiropractic side and actually patients. So I like to talk about this because I want people to learn from doctors like yourself that have, been doing this for a while, that know what works and what doesn't. So I have a couple questions for you based on what you've been through, if you don't mind. Um, so let's just jump in here. So you have, you've contributed to platforms like Good Morning America, right? We talked about that. What's it called? The Northern Virginia magazine, I think, is one. You've really expanded your reach, man. Yes, I've done my homework on you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But how has media exposure and obviously other podcasts, right? I've
Sure.
seen you out on other podcasts as well. How has your media exposure really impacted your practice and the way you connect with patients?
You know, I love the idea of free speech. I think, free speech is really critical here, that
Mm,
people have a platform and speak freely and, you know,
yeah,
and especially in the science, right? I mean, we are today in, 2025, and free
yeah,
speech is so critical that if you don't believe in, science should always debate things. They should. That's how it should be. And being
yeah,
called a fringe or doing this, and I think that's changed over my time because it got really aggressive a few years ago.
yeah,
Deplatforming people, not letting them speak how they feel, other agendas. So free speech is really important to us. And it going back to about, you know, patients have a freedom to choose what is good for them,
right,
medical
right,
freedom to choose what is best. And for practitioners, I tell people, you know, believe in yourself.
yeah,
Here's the other thing, in God. I mean, yeah, those things are all really important, and to
yeah,
believe in yourself and that, that you have the ability to help other people going
yeah.
through school and, doing this is a great opportunity to really help other people and help
Mm.
mankind.
Yeah. So, would you say that, being on these platforms, the podcasts and what have you, and contributing to magazines and whatnot is really um your way of giving back on a broader scale, so that you're impacting more lives, right? Without technically touching those lives
Yeah,
physically?
very well said. Exactly how I would say that. And that's why I think there must be we need a better political movement to help holistic medicine. We need to let people know this is not fringy, right? We need a better political
Yeah.
movement to help us literally clean up our food dietary guidelines, help more people live longer.
Yeah.
We need a bigger reach. Our audience, I'll be quite honest, we're a small group. People think we're growing. We're still very fringy. We're on,
Yeah.
we're a small group of people. The big
Yeah.
institutions devalue us very, very
It's
rapidly.
unfortunate. Yeah. 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 So, I think one of my recommendations usually, to chiropractors specifically, is don't be afraid to have your voice heard, and not necessarily just by, the patients or your prospective patients, but also by those listening ears that might necessarily believe in what you're doing. Because eventually, the more they hear it, the more, science you throw behind it, the more social proof you can show, the more real it becomes. So I urge you, every one of you right now, any DC that's listening right now, do not be afraid to get your information out there. Put yourself out on social media. Get out on Instagram. Just talk. Literally just talk. Don't worry about how beautiful it sounds and all the fancy lights and the stickers and no, just talk. People will listen, especially if you have something to say that will speak to them personally. Certain aches you can talk about, certain uh, um, I mean, even sinus infections, as simple as that. Chiropractic care and can like little things like that. Let's get that information out there, because the more we do that, the healthier America we're gonna
Yeah, I would
obtain.
agree because there's a lot of people who are suffering, who are in a lot of pain. And,
Yeah.
and chiropractors, again, we as a group, we're always into holistic medicine very early on. And I always
Mm,
try to tell people the same thing. Really try to get out there and help others.
hmm.
It makes us all better. Helping
Yeah.
yourself helps others, and it's again, it's part of that purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, I love that, and I agree 1,000%. But let's touch a little bit on kind of managing everything, right? Because look, dude, you're everywhere. Everywhere I look, Dr. Lou, Dr. Ziegler is
That's
literally right there in my face. So you've been you're a trusted consultant, you're on podcasts, etc. How do you manage these responsibilities alongside your private practice? That's a business. You're running a business.
Yeah, again, uh, I'm truly blessed to do what I have the opportunity to do. I feel literally blessed. So I really believe in the opportunity to help others, to make the planet better. And it comes back, I'm so appreciative to my parents and God and everybody to so have this opportunity. And I don't want to waste this opportunity. And I'd say the same thing to my younger self, value your time. you know, it's really important, value your time to help others.
Yeah.
It will help yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really good, and be nice to yourself.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about kind of the practical side of things
Sure.
when it comes to running your practice? Obviously, you have other doctors there with
Yes.
you. How do you manage kind of being able to, like right now, you're on the podcast with me. Obviously, this is probably an admin day or maybe a break in between seeing patients. Like, how do you manage that practically?
Great. So I'm so lucky, and I'll share the other part too. So appreciative of the other practitioners I have working with us who are working right now, and hopefully I'm not too loud and they're the other rooms. So please, to build a good team,
Mm,
literally, right? Have to say the same thing. I'm so lucky to have a really great team, from the
mm,
staff to practitioners, and especially people you like. So again,
yeah.
right? I mean, I
Yeah.
honestly, like, from the beginning, I could never do this by myself. You just may
Right.
see me, but
Right.
you're seeing a lot of people who've given me insight, who've helped me
Beautiful.
with my journey. You don't
Yeah.
see all these people behind me
Yeah.
who've really helped me move this ball. You
Yeah.
don't see my
Yeah.
brother, but
Right.
right, you're like, "Where's his brother?" Right.
Yeah.
He's there. He's back there.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see my partner who's been back. She's just been great helping us, the staff. All these people
Mm,
really give me the opportunity to get out to do what I need to do.
love it. So a strong team is really how you do it.
Correct.
So your website talks and emphasizes education. It
Sure.
emphasizes, empowerment. Um, how would you use digital tools and resources to really better serve your patients and grow your practice?
Yeah, so I think you said the best way. I think Facebook, Instagram, X, all those things, right? That's social media. And now that we know that hopefully they won't be, deplatforming people as
Yeah.
much, and,
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
That will help move the ball also, because it is a great tool. But to pick and choose who can be on the platform, and there's only in that power to a few people. I mean, right? That's a lot of power. So
But like we said, Instagram, Facebook, all those X, et cetera. I think the step one in getting that information out would be to create the information. Um, I think one of the things that cripple us is we want things to be so perfect. But don't be afraid to iterate, right? Fail forward. Create something small, build on it. Obviously, we're going to make sure it's accurate. If you can't get out a lot of information all at the same time, get out something small, build
right,
on it. By next year, you're going to have an entire library of information. And you'll be able to use that with your patients as well. So build on it, put it out on social, put it on your website as well, because
yeah,
it'll
well
bring
said.
in more
I
traffic.
agree.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
musicians are really, and I'll including myself, I'm not trained in technology. I really don't
Mm,
need. That's where guys like you really
right.
help us.
Right.
I don't have all these great amount of followers. You know,
Right.
This isn't,
Right.
I'm in patient care, but it's people like
Yeah.
yourself. Literally, it's
Yeah.
people like you that we are so thankful for, to help us get our messages out. Because if it wasn't for you specifically, we'd really, all of us, are be on this fringe on the outside.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Honestly, I appreciate you saying that because that's really why I do what I do, because I want you to do what you do best and not worry about everything else.
Yeah,
I don't want you stretching yourself thin. I want you to focus on the patient care. And that's what you want to focus on. Just like you said, build a strong team around you. A lot of the practices that I see out there are a one-man show or one-woman show, when in fact they don't need to be, right? They don't have to focus on the marketing. They don't have to focus on building their website. They don't have to focus on bringing patients in. They just have to focus on the care that they provide, right? Maybe even focus a little bit on their brand and
Yeah.
things like that. And then, like you said it perfect. It's guys like me, people like myself, businesses like mine that help you build your practice, so that you can grow it, so that you can make a bigger impact in your community. That's
Right. And
why I
that's
do
what,
what I
again,
do.
why I was so appreciative to meet you and to get this opportunity, because it is, you
Yeah,
understand this kind of world of the internet
yeah,
much better than practitioners.
right,
And
right.
you've got all those screens. Look, I mean, we've got a great setup.
Listen, I have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screens. I'm looking at a huge TV right in front of me right now. But yeah, look, you got to multitask when it comes to this. Things are constantly changing when it comes to digital marketing. Can you do it yourself? Yes, you can.
Sure.
It is a full-time job. It's a full-time
Yeah.
job. I have multiple teams that do this, right? I can't do it myself. I've grown teams to focus on my clients and what have you, because that's how much work it takes. It's literally a more than full-time job to make it successful. So I'm here if you guys need me. I'm also here to direct you. I have a ton of information out there, free information. I'm constantly putting training out there. I have no secrets. I've just created the secret sauce that I put it together in order for it to be successful for you. It's all out there, guys. You want to do it yourself? Please do it, because that means you're helping more people. But if you need help, reach out. I'm here
That's
to help.
great. I see.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Love it, man. Thanks for bringing that up. Thank you. You gave me the opportunity to say
No,
what I need
no,
to say
it
there. So
really is
thank you.
important. I think most practitioners really don't understand that to get this word out is really critical. You will
Yeah.
really help other people. But again, you're in patient care. Again, building that team, getting other people involved to help.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of the hesitation I see is around collaboration between, maybe the chiropractor, and the rest of their staff, or external hires, etc. So you have a strong focus on patient partnerships yourself.
Yeah.
How do you foster trust and collaboration in your practice between your patients and the people that work around you, and maybe the people in the back office? And I don't know if you have a digital team, whatever. How do you foster that trust and collaboration?
Great. I mean, trust is a really, it takes a long time to build up,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And can be really quickly broken.
Mm.
But trust, and being grateful. And I know people trust me with their health.
Yeah.
So say the same thing. They go out, they can read, I'm open to questions always, right? I want to listen. I never force anything on anybody.
Mm.
Somebody has an
Yeah.
opinion about something, I'm more than welcome to hear about it. They tell me about certain medications, certain types of,
Yeah.
you know, things they're doing.
Sure.
I'll take a look at white papers. I'll take a look at the science. I'll tell you if I think it's
Love
good,
that.
it's flawed. I mean, I always feel free. It means to take a look at that information. So when the
Mm.
patients here, they said, "Oh, hey, I read this study." I make sure I'm aware of it. I'm familiar with it. I'll take a look at it to see really how it's being published, if it's
Yeah.
good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Love that. So here's a challenge question
Sure.
for you. If you could give one piece of advice to other healthcare professionals on, building a successful, patient-centered practice, what would it be?
Just one, huh?
Yes, one piece of advice.
One piece of advice. Again, patient-centered. Again, do no harm. You've been trained. I mean, right? Do no harm. Think about how you were trained. Your fundamental training, and I think especially for chiropractors, movement is so critical. Make sure you do your good comprehensive exams. Make sure you look at your diagnostic workups. Then you can really feel that you've done the best due diligence in the sense
Mhm.
of, putting a good care plan in place, and your practice will grow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when you lose sight of your why, is when things start to crumble, or not, they aren't as effective. So my recommendation here would be, and this is from kind of the outside looking in, right? I think this is for any business owner. Like for myself, I have a why. I do this because of the pain I walk through, and because I know that chiropractic care is an answer for a lot of things that we didn't realize they were an answer for. My own kids, I've seen miracles in their life. Their scoliosis, like literally being healed, and made better in front of my very eyes. Like these are the things that drive me. This is my why. Your why, for example, could be, and when I say your, I'm talking to the general DC population, not Washington, DC, doctors of chiropractic. But your why could be the reason why you got into this to begin with, which is your love for people, which is your love for a better healthcare system, which is making people better, right?
No
Don't
doubt.
lose track of that. Don't lose
Being
track of that.
human, I always echo
Yeah,
the same thing, kind of right when we spoke about being
yeah,
human, that one
yeah,
part that, connecting with people, helping people, giving them care, right?
yeah,
You get trained to give care and an
yeah.
opportunity. So grateful to have the opportunity to take care of somebody.
Yeah, yeah, love that. Awesome. Great answer, Dr. Ziegler. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's talk a little about the future of holistic medicine.
Sure.
So, integrative medicine is becoming, I hate to say it this way, but more mainstream. Not there yet.
Not yet. Yep.
But we're walking towards it. We're crawling towards it. What advancements do you see, or trends in holistic healthcare, that you're actually excited about?
Yeah, so I do believe in the same thing that this will push better into what we call this more functional medicine.
Mm,
Integrative medicine will move much more kind of in this 2.0 world, right? Or
yeah.
whatever that, I'm not
Yeah,
even sure
yeah.
what that means. Post-COVID
Love that.
world, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
we're going to
yeah.
move this really to more functional, make people function, live longer, longevity,
Right.
right? We are, we're going to clean up this food supply. We're going to get people healthier. We're going to really, why food nutrients are low. We
Right.
want people to function better, live longer, right? And I think that's what sports medicine's really has pioneered. It's really understanding this,
Yeah.
moving that ball, making people compete better and faster and
Yeah.
stronger. And I want them to live longer.
Yeah, for sure. So as someone with expertise in both, traditional and alternative therapies, how do you see the fields continuing to merge in the future?
So I do. Hopefully we won't be as divided, like everybody's in their own sandbox.
Yeah.
Here's the other part, right? Everybody's in their own little sandbox. I
Yeah.
do really want them to fuse them much better together.
Yeah.
As most medical schools have no nutritional training, zero, right? So we need to get that ball. We need to get, good nutrients, good science back into
Yeah.
the kind of the traditional models. I don't know
Yeah.
how it was never part of it.
Yeah. 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 That's
Right. So
good.
we need to
Yeah.
get that ball moving, because you are what you eat, and
Yeah. It's
most
true.
physicians are not trained in this world.
Yeah.
But
I get that. I get that. It's unfortunate. They kind of just regurgitate what they're told to, and it's sad. I see it in my own life, people around me, that is, and my own, what, I won't call people out, but I see it in my own life. Like they're popping pills because their doctor told
sure.
them to. They have a carousel of medication that they take on a daily basis, and I don't think that's a way of life myself. And I think um, what's gotten us there is this, immediate gratification, quick answers, band-aids, and so on, instead of really focusing on root cause and figuring out maybe a slower route to a healthier life. But once you get there, it'll last longer. It'll feel better, less medication, more, and so on. I,
Well,
I think, I
yeah,
think we'll
well
get there.
said. Well said.
Yeah,
Root
I think we'll
cause,
get there.
literally, right? What's causing all this chronic illness? What's
Right.
causing all this chronic inflammation? What's
Yeah.
causing all this anxiety and stress, right?
Yeah.
What's causing all this? The root cause is really we're going to start hopefully dig in a little deeper and try to get through the weeds and take a much better look at things. And I think
Yeah.
the same thing I've always said about chiropractors. Chiropractors fundamentally are always positioned. If you have a brain, you need a chiropractor, right? It's that
Yeah.
kind of simple to me,
Yeah.
because the nervous system, the central nervous system, which deals with everything, going
Yeah.
down your spinal column, going out to those nerves. If you have a brain, you need a chiropractor.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. All right. So I got a challenge
Sure.
question for you then. So if you had unlimited resources,
Yep.
right, to innovate in holistic medicine, functional medicine, what have you, what would be your dream project or initiative?
Great. I would like every American to access touch of integrative medicine and not be
Mm.
dictated by your health insurance company. Literally,
Ooh.
right? I hate
Yeah.
the idea that health insurance companies
Uh,
control so much control over
don't get
this,
me
right?
started. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a whole nother conversation, but the amount of control they have.
Right. So you would say you dump all your resources into educating the world, really?
Yeah, definitely educating the world, making, limiting the type of power these insurance companies have, the amount of, and here in Washington, about big pharma, amount of control and there's a lot of people who are really, like I said, we've got wind in our face who are
Yeah.
trying to push us kind of down. So I
Yeah.
do think, we're up against a big monster. I won't kid you. So if we have unlimited resources. I want to make sure that natural medicine gets out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Love
And we
that.
have to
Yeah.
push back against some of these big institutions.
So so after years of serving patients and contributing to healthcare, real healthcare,
Sure.
what has been the most rewarding aspect of your career, Dr. Ziegler?
Most rewarding thing is to meet so many people, having the opportunity to help so many people. It is a
Mm.
true blessing. I can't,
Yeah.
what an opportunity. Again, coming back, my parents gave me an opportunity to go to school. It's such, you feel so appreciative to help people literally get their lives back and to help them. It's a blessing.
Yeah. What's one message you hope every patient or listener takes away from this conversation?
Great. Be good to yourself, be nice to yourself, take time for yourself. Really important. I mean, the fundamentals of being healthy. Then, eat really good food, make sure you exercise, all those things, but be good to yourself.
Yeah.
That's what God would want you to be.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So then looking ahead for you, for your practice, your aspirations, what are the biggest goals that you might have for your practice in the near future, maybe even 10 years out?
Yeah. So the same thing. I want this to be, I don't want this to word be alternative. I mean,
Mm.
right. I think that we've been coined this kind of alternative, fringy, that my goal is to literally, this is a first stop, not the last stops, the
Yeah.
first stops
Yeah. Yeah.
to help
Yeah.
people get better. We've,
Got it.
again, that whole fringy kind of, alternative, we've been pushed into that wall. And like I tell people, acupuncture, especially, or traditional Chinese medicine, yin and yang, thousands of years of case studies,
Mm.
thousands.
Mm.
They have more case studies than anything. The
Yeah.
Western side, 150 years,
Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a little chip off the shoulder of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 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 So for people listening, whether doctors or patients alike, what would be the best way for them to get a hold of you if they have
Oh my
questions or?
goodness. Yeah, but please, right? If you're in the Washington, D.C. area, please, our website, we're right here close to the Capitol. We're getting ready for the inauguration. It really is an exciting time here in Washington for me, especially. I'd like to see our food guidelines changed. They can
Mm,
come to our website, they can shoot us an email. We'd be more than happy to take a look at them or their family
yeah,
members if they're in the region.
yeah,
We want everybody to be healthy again. So please
yeah,
visit our website, you know, visit us, shoot us an email. We're here. We're on Instagram. We don't have many
yeah.
followers, Facebook.
We'll change that. We'll change that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
can find
so
my Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Or excuse me,
So
X.
X. Yeah. So for those of you listening, whether it's an audio or video, what have you, somewhere in the description, you guys are going to find his name, the name of the practice, the address, the phone number, the website, and email, maybe their socials and what have you. I'll make sure to have that information there for anybody that has questions, whether you're a doctor that might have questions for Dr. Ziegler or his team, or a patient that
Yeah,
wants to, that's in the area, maybe that wants to stop in and say, hey, and say, fix me or what have you. Hey, actually, question for you,
sure.
Dr. Ziegler. Do you see patients virtually as well?
Yeah, I do sometimes, depending on how complicated their situations. And normally, most of my initial visits are always in person because I really
Okay.
like to have a better sense. And then we do
Okay.
some of the virtual things, of course,
Okay.
small. But I also talk to a lot of other physicians to try to make sure that they go out and help other people and have
Yeah.
that purpose again, too. So I really, as other physicians might need a little type of guidance, you know, especially coming out of school. I've been
Yeah,
doing
for
this
sure.
30
Yeah.
plus
Yeah. Yeah.
years. So
Yeah. That's
I'm more
awesome.
than helpful
Yeah.
to help other people and other practitioners.
I
I,
love
I
that,
find it
man.
an honor.
I got to tell you, there hasn't been one single chiropractor that I have spoken to date that is not willing to speak to another doctor to help them be successful. I mean, you have doctors that have, 40 years experience. I just interviewed and released on New Year's Eve, actually, Dr. Peter Kevorkian. He's now the VP of Life West
Nice.
College. Yeah. But he still has his practice. He's willing to talk to any chiropractor I mean, for goodness sake, he got into the education field so that he can help more chiropractors. I love your heart. All of you. There hasn't been one that doesn't feel the same way. It's not about a competition. It's about the patient. And I love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
and I always think the same kind of thing because when you go into private practice, you're sort of like a lone wolf, right? But you're better in a pack. You're better with your other team members. Like,
Yes.
you're not out there alone.
Yeah.
You need help and other guidance from other practitioners. So we're
Yeah.
much stronger in a pack. So I always
Yeah.
say the same thing. As our pack and our community gets stronger, our choir gets stronger, we will not be considered alternative.
Right. Right. So I got a final question for you. If you could leave listeners with one piece of advice to prioritize their health, their well being, what would that be?
The one thing. So I would kind of go, food is medicine.
Okay. Okay. Short, sweet, love it.
I
That
know
is
it's more
great
than one word,
advice.
but it's,
No,
food
it's
is
it's
medicine.
perfect. It's perfect. I love that. I love that. Well, Dr. Ziegler, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for all your work you're doing. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. I had a blast. It was an honor to host you. Thank you so much for being here. And folks, that is a wrap on this episode of Beyond Adjustments. A big, huge, ginormous thanks to Dr. Lou Ziegler for taking a break from his Good Morning America fame to hang out with us common folk. If you're curious about his work or just want to say, I listened to a podcast with a guy who was on TV, head over to advhealthctr.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who thinks good posture means sitting up for like 2 minutes before they're slouching again. Until next time, stay upright and stay awesome. Cue the music.